We asked for $1.1 million to build a float in the 134th Rose Parade and to make a documentary about it.
First, I was like, how is this even possible? This does not make any sense.
How do you get this kind of money for a project that's not really hinged on anything with metrics to be successful?
We were able to put together a proposal and within several weeks be able to get funded and get moving on it.
Oh, I can create like something big, like think big. Let me design a 3D printed fashion collection.
Complete creative freedom, but also support from a really passionate community.
So if we're doing haikus and coloring books, we can do jingles.
Where do we even start? What piece do you want to knit first?
The ability to do whatever you want.
This feels unparalleled.
Visual effects artist turned YouTube virtual character influencer.
3D printed fashion designer.
Been making comic books for about 25 years.
This is Klim from Big Shot Toy Works.
I am Aubtoshi.
I am the producer of the Wizard's Hat short film.
Why don't I write a jingle every day?
I'm Marc. This is, vodka.
I'm one of the founders of the Nouns Square.
So the way Nouns works is every day a new NFT goes up for auction.
Sold to you.
Every 24 hours, that auction goes up. All that money then goes into a treasury.
And from there, it gets dispersed by way of proposals and votes.
To fund all kinds of crazy things, whether it's public works or art projects or giant floats.
The very first prototype. For the past 25 years, I've been working in the mainstream toy industry. Most of that industry is like super secretive, pages of things that you can't do. And in this case, you can do anything you want. The artwork's wonderful. It's unique, has tons of characters, all sorts of different variations and options. They don't have any names, they don't have any stories. So the what the hell are those becomes, what can I make them? Because it's CC0, it enables somebody like me that I'm not a pixel artist. I love the artwork, but that's not my work. But CC0 lets me do this. A unicorn character from Nouns, done in my style. Nobody tells me you can't make this way. The colors has to be different. It's why does it have one on? Well, you know what? I'm just gonna make a bunch of these out of blocks. Nobody's telling me I can't do it because it's all CC0. Super excited some more and I'm making these. Right? What are those? You're kind of working for the community. Actually, you know what? You're not working for the community, you're working with the community.
The community actually encouraged me. They were like, okay, but you're a 3D printing fashion designer. So they were like, okay, you should do a 3D printed fashion collection. I was like, okay, let's do it. I think it was the first time for me that people that don't know me supported my work and actually encouraged me to create for the making. With the Nouns, it was not for showing a business model. It was more about why is it good for the DAO? Why is it good for the world to see? What is the mission? What am I trying to explore? It's really an experimental creation, making these designs, supporting the creation process.
I used to work on movies and TV shows. You got to get all these shots done in this amount of time. When I stopped doing all that and started working on Xanadu,
that I'm going to be inhabiting him every week.
My way of separating from that machine and just kind of worked on the art of something. My own timelines, my own creative process. And the beauty about the Nouns DAO that was super appealing to me is that it didn't throw that out of whack in any way. In fact, it enhanced it because most everything else is that sort of like product marketplace model. Whereas the Nouns DAO was like, hey, wait a minute, I can create whatever I want, my own timeline. And then if they go for it, there isn't any dynamic there that's going to affect what I'm doing creatively. It just keeps me in the driver's seat on all fronts.
My big go-to example now for the entrepreneurial aspect of what DAOs, specifically Noun DAOs, offer builders and creators is a Shark Tank one. I am this last prop for a year of operations and going to over 18 events was funded more capital than I have seen anyone funded on Shark Tank, and I didn't have to give up equity to my company.
Are you guys out of your...
And I didn't have to promise profits or returns.
Children are going to watch this.
It is unheard of. I feel like traditional finance and anyone in that world is still struggling to understand. If I'm ever at these conferences and the first thing people will ask me is, well, how do they get paid back? As an entrepreneur, that gave me the freedom to then just excel to the best of my abilities. Truly, truly, like Nouns is this opportunity for people and for that right person.
And whose fault is that?
I am the producer of the Wizard's Hat short film. What drew me to Nouns and what made it stand out to me anyway, and what made me like, okay, I'm listening, is that the NFTs are just basically a way to build this pool of money in order to just fund creators and changes and disruptors. Within a week, I think, the proposal was voted up. Then we had the funds, which was insane because that's a week as opposed to months of pitching, applying for funding, long applications, lots of back and forth with potential investors or collaborators. So just being able to put a proposal into Nouns and it'd only take a week and we had the funds, it was very surreal.
Beep, beep. Beep, beep. I haven't sat this well for this long.
It's like so good for your posture.
My posture, yeah.
Like,
but it shows you how
shockingly
tiring
good.
it is to sit with good posture.
God, it's the worst.
Yeah.
There is a place for video making in the art world, but it's very niche and very, very, very small. And so for Nouns to come along and fund this project, it's incredible, dude. It was fascinating to see like an independent group like that funding just the weirdest stuff. It's like an incubator of weird. Well, if you were to apply for like an arts grant, my Lord, the paperwork and this and that and like the waiting time and you don't know who's voting and you got to get nominated and blah, blah, blah. And so like to have something that's a ton more nimble, in terms of its funding process it's fantastic for artists.
If you want to win over my heart, hang me a piece of that abstract art.
My bread and butter over the last 15 years has been in commercial. Can you turn this cymbal down just like a little? Okay, can you turn it up again, actually? Can you bring it back? Can you split the different? Maybe you look through a shaker, no cymbal. But this Noun stuff, just free and easy, and they let me do my thing, and I got better at doing them. I started to hone it a lot more. I could actually direct what I was doing. Like there was a taxi cab. It's one of my favorites. And I thought, oh, what would I do for a taxi cab? And I thought, oh, well, there's that show from the 70s, Taxi. What was the theme song for that show?
Please don't slam the door. I'm down to 54.
And when I completed it, I was like, yeah.
Hey, I'm Toady Hawk, and I'm one of the founders of the Noun Square. We started with just one space a week. Now we're hosting, I think, 38 spaces a week for all different sub-communities, sub-DAOs. I think what makes Nouns different than every other NFT project out there is that it's more like an exercise in open source brand building. Or most times when you're building a brand in the non-Web3 space, it's like if you're trying to build Nike, well, you better be into athletics or shoes. Within Nouns, you can be interested in so many things. You can be interested in extreme sports. You can be interested in open source code or architecture or infrastructure of online tools. It's kind of a crazy thing to do because beforehand, I don't think you would have ever seen someone try. They would have always said you have to target one demographic. Like, you can't just build a brand for everybody. And, maybe you can.
I can make you a comic book, but why don't I get it printed? Why don't I get it distributed? How cool would it be for you to go into a bookstore and see a Nouns book? That really, to me, felt like a crossover between Web3 and the physical realm. In our real life, there are just so many instances where we're told no, where we're told you can't do that, where we're told you shouldn't do that. And we suppress our dreams and we suppress the things that we want to do and just do the things that we're told we should do. But the reason I love Nouns is they want to say yes. People who enjoy Nouns want to say yes. People within the ecosystem want to say yes. When you ask for help, they say yes. When you say, I want to do something that's really crazy, really out there, they say yes. And so I really appreciate the Nouns for that. And that's kind of what made me fall in love with them and want to do something.
To think 9 months of all of this work and all of this craziness, the hours going into building these things, and it all kind of culminates at this one moment and on this one day. To have that happen is just, I can't even describe it. I was so proud of what we were able to pull off. I was proud of everybody who worked on it.
Working with the Nouns community is how engaged everyone is. And at one point we had an idea, we're like, gosh, it would be amazing if behind the float, everyone was wearing Nouns glasses. And before we knew it, there was a prop that went up to help fund getting 7,000 paper printed noggles that we could pass out. And then we're like, oh my God, who's gonna pass those out? And then Aubtoshi stepped up and there's a whole group called Nouns on the Ground that's entire reason for being is to spread Nounish culture at events. And so she put a prop up and the community funded her to come out to LA to pass out those 7,000 noggles. And then we're like, well gosh, if Nouns on the Ground is out, we should have them dancing next to the float. And then we got tracksuits made. All this happened without us having any input into it. It just happened. Even our DJ came from the Nouns community, flew all the way out from Latvia. It just blew our mind.
I don't know if you can see that, but
see it.
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah.
Those hairs are up.
Yeah.
I heard this piece of advice when I was asking this very same question to people of how would they even onboard someone who's brand new. And I think the one that stood out to me the most was whatever you do well, do that.
To anybody that discovers Nouns,
do your research, look at other proposals that have passed.
Have a good fleshed out idea. Have a proof of concept for sure.
I think there's got to be a good balance between what you want to do as a creator, but also incorporating the Nouns DAO in a meaningful way that truly will benefit them.
This is the place to take risks, take your vision and ideas to the limit.
If you think it offers value to the community, just do it.
come into the community, learn a little bit, and then start building.
So a sense of community is almost more important than it ever has been. And Nouns gives you that community.
When you start to expand out what blockchain can do and what's at the root of Nouns DAO, it's really like a way to bring the community together in a way that's so powerful.
It's a very fun experience when you come from a traditional entertainment background.
Hell yeah.
100%. We would do another proposal for Nouns, yeah.